Just waiting for the stream to work. Hello, coders. Thank you for joining me on this very impromptu live stream. This is a very quick Patreon update for those who were Patreons or have seen the Patreon account. You may have noticed that there's been some changes into the tiers recently. What I've done is I've made it a little bit more simpler. So there's two tiers. There's only two tiers at the moment. The first tier is the $2 tier. Now, the thing is with that, I want early access. So that is early access to all the videos and all of the podcast episodes. Now, I have several podcast episodes that are going to be released. If you go to howtocodewell.fm/schedule, you'll see all of the podcasts that are yet to be released. I'm going to put all of those onto Patreon, and you can get all of those as an audio MP3 file, as well as access to the unlisted private video on YouTube before that actually gets published live on both the podcast and on YouTube. So that's the $2 tier. That also gives you access to the newsletter as well if you're not already accessed to that. The second tier is it's $5, and that is access to the Discord server. So if you want to talk to other programmers, then do join on the Discord server. It's a good way to ask questions and push some code up in a very comfortable and welcoming environment. So do check that out. So that is the two tiers that I've got. What I'm going to do now is just run through the podcast schedule as it stands. So later on today, we're going to publish out the PHP Bitcoin on demand equals air travel. So that's PHP and Bitcoin equals on demand air travel. That is with William A. Ibarra, and that will be pushed out today. Next Friday, which is the 5th of April, we have Jeremy Onion on the show talking about recruitment, CVs, and interviews. So if you want to learn the best way of creating yourself a CV, then do check that out. That's going to be on the 5th of April, but of course, it's already on Patreon if you want to check that out. After that, we've got Oliver Davies coming on the 12th of April. This is all on howtocodewell.fm/schedule. I'm going to also add links to the direct pages of the Patreon posts, so you can access those as well here as early access. So Oliver Davies is going to talk about Drupal 7 versus Drupal 8 and other bits and pieces. Very interesting conversation I had with him. And then we've got on the 19th of April, Matt Trask talking about mental health in web development. That was a fascinating interview. So do check that out. Again, that's available as well on the Patreon account. After that, we have on the 26th of April, we have CodeBar. Kimberly Cook came on and I discussed CodeBar with her, learning to code for free using CodeBar. If you don't know what CodeBar is, it's a fantastic resource. Do check out that podcast. That is coming on the 26th of April. Again, that's available on the Patreon feed if you are a member of the early access tier. After that, on the 3rd of May, so we're now in May now, we have Tom Varell coming back on the show, and he's talking about the best self-taught developer resources. And that was an amazing, interesting conversation I had with Tom, and we were talking about the resources that he used. Of course, he was on the podcast before, talking about how he became a React developer. This show is talking about what resources he recommends to self-taught devs. Then we have John Jacob talking about the Iteration podcast. I had the pleasure of interviewing John about the Iteration podcast. That's coming on the 10th of May. And we've got lots of other podcast guests coming on after that. So Rob Waller, Rob Wilson, and so on and so forth. These are all going to be on the Patreon feed first. Like I said, I've got all of the stuff all the way up to John Jacob, the Iteration podcast, already on Patreon. So you can already access that. So you don't have to wait until the 10th of May to get to that point. And that's what I'm going to do for the foreseeable. I'm going to be uploading these in a private state on YouTube and a private state on Patreon, and then release them every Friday. So if you want early access to these things, then do join Patreon. You're going to support the channel, and it's going to be fantastic, because not only are you helping to support this channel, but you're also being part of the community. And as I said, you can access Discord and you can ask questions to not only me, but to other people as well about code. So you can build up upon the community. And I thank you all very much for supporting, also commenting, and just having some general impact on the channel as it is, because without you guys, then this channel wouldn't exist. So thank you ever so much. Happy coding, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Cheers. Bye.